All right, good morning. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Man, yesterday. Shit. I missed it, man. I missed the late day. But 59:30, dude. Oh my goodness. 59:30. There it was. That's just that's like a picture frame, man. Put that on a picture frame right there. I should screenshot this and put it on a canvas in my office. Put it right here in the office. Yeah, sucks I didn't catch that one, man. But if you guys did, congratulations. What a trade. What a setup. That was the exact morning sort of idea. That was it. It was the fail back under 59.30. It was the retest rejection. It was holy shit, man. That definitely paid end of day. Congrats, guys. Really nice move. This is usually my trading hour. That's my typical trading hour. I really live by getting off this computer around 1 o'clock. I try my best to do it. And sometimes it makes you miss out on some late day action, and that was definitely yesterday. But you know what? What I talked to the group about yesterday and what I'll talk to you guys about, you need to remember probability. You need to remember outliers, right? You have to focus on the fact that there are outlier days. So a day like yesterday, right, where you say, man, I wish I was sitting in front of my computer, later day to catch that move. That's going to be the same mindset that makes you sit. Let's just imagine this was a later day move, right? That's the same mindset that's going to make you sit at your computer all day and trade in this, which is the higher probability move long term, right? It's much more often that you see a bunch of shit from like 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock than you get one of the sexiest setups there ever was on a singular day. So, when you think big picture, do I still think it's right to not sit in front of your computer all day and trade, to try to turn to boredom trades and all that? Yeah, I think it's the right answer. But of course, a day like yesterday makes you rethink that. But what a move, man. Decent day for me yesterday. Came out on top. Would have liked to get the cherry on top though, which was this move late day. Congrats if you guys did. Today we are at some big give up spots, man. We're at some big give up spots. What a rejection yesterday. At our QQQ 513, the ES is getting real close to our 5800, which is a major give up spot. The NASDAQ futures is sitting right at this 20,300. This is a major give up spot here. The QQQ 493 in the 200 SMA, major give up spot. And Tesla in a gap fill that I will absolutely exploit today if I start to see it. I'm either going to take a decent sized loss today or a massive win if this starts to show itself. So this looks very interesting. This is my top watch of the day all day. What's something I'll talk about in just a second. So some decent opportunities out there, man. The break and retest rejection has been an absolutely sexual thing to look for and trade, to understand, know how to trade it. It's been just perfection. The downside has been juicy. Congrats if you're taking advantage of it. It's honestly been better to trade this downside than the upside. It's been so much better to trade the downside. It's so much easier. Flows, you can stay confident in it. The market's showing weakness. It looks really good. So let's see. Let's see if we get it again today. Press that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Where are we at? Let's see. We are at... We need 426. 426. All right. Press that like button, subscribe, and let's get started. Economic calendar. Today, what do we got? Today, not much today. You got President Trump speaking. I mean, that's never good for the markets, it seems. Let's go ahead and pull that up. So today, that's 9 p.m. Okay, so we don't got to worry about that. Not really much today, actually, on the economic side, which is good. We'll have a nice market without economic data. Trump speaking tonight at 9 p.m. Don't really think this FOMC member means much there at 2:20, and that's really about it. Tomorrow, non-farm employment change, ISM services, 10 o'clock. Unemployment claims Thursday. Friday, average hourly earnings, non-farm, unemployment rate. Powell speaking at 12:30 on Friday as well. So, not much. Just some maybe a little bit careful on the swing trades tonight, folks, because of this. Yeah, be careful of that 9 p.m. Trump speaking. What's he speaking about here? Let's see. Where the hell does it go? Where the hell did it go? Here it is. To deliver an address to a joint session of Congress at the Capitol building in Washington, D.C. Tomorrow night will be big. I'll tell it like it is. Interesting. This reminds me of the show I just watched on Netflix. Did you guys watch Zero Day? Anyone see Zero Day on Netflix? Great show. I really liked it. Oh, tonight's State of the Union? Okay. He's addressing advanced auto parts. AAPQ. How long until this is what am I pressing here? Sometimes I get my fingers lost on this thing. AAPQ. That means bankrupt. How long? What do we got? Maybe another couple of years? That's our joke. That's our live stream joke. AAPQ. You're watching it now? Yeah, great show. I like it a lot. Rebel. Who's Rebel? He looks like he's got some followers. Rebel, thank you so much for earlier minutes. Appreciate that, Rebel. I need to look this guy up. Who's Rebel? Oh, Rebel's got some gaming stuff going on over here. All right. All right, let's get started. Let's stop fucking around. So that's economic data. Let's go to earnings. Where's earnings at? Earnings tonight. This morning we had Target. Let's take a quick peek at Target. Target, pretty sideways. Not much. Target's been crushed. I think Target this morning talked about the possible price increases. Right? Can you guys hear the noise on the live stream too? The little clicking noise? Target talked about, I think, some price increases on their earnings because of tariffs. Tariffs will likely lead to price increases in the coming days. Interesting. Target has maybe some move here to 113. I think that's possibly, look at this little gap here. See this? You might get that. Let's see. What's this low over here? This low right here is 120.21. Yeah. You could look for that. 120.21 is that target low. You have a gap to fill into like 113. You might be able to target that. I'm not going to trade Target today, but that's something you can watch. What did AutoZone do? What's AutoZone's ticker? The hell is AutoZone's ticker? AZO, that's right. AZO, AZO, sort of. The spread is 300 points wide. Bid ask is 300 points wide. Not interested. Tonight's CrowdStrike. Tomorrow, MRVL. Thursday, Broadcom. So some big semiconductor names. MRVL tomorrow night and Broadcom Thursday night. Those will be very big for the SMH, which has been getting crushed. We'll go into that in just a second. All right? Let's just jump into the charts here, man, because we got some big things to look over, and let's go ahead and let's get this information packed in. Let's not cut this too close today. So, yesterday, man, what a rejection of that 21-1, 21-2 zone. I had it around that 21-2. You guys can see right here. We had that zone. Really nice rejection yesterday. That lined up beautifully with our QQQ 513, man. QQQ 513. Absolutely perfect. 100 SMA, QQQ 513, just straight off the open. I think one of our best judgments yesterday, maybe in this live stream, but also if you guys are part of the group, we knew that we had to give back that straight up upside into end of day on Friday, man. We knew it. We were talking about how we don't want to be long after that straight up move into close on Friday, right? And at the very least, let this thing pull back. And so it did pull back, right? And it gave us that move back into that 20,800, 20,700. And that started to hold, right? It looked like the market was going to maybe try to hold that and push back higher. But at least, waiting for that early morning pullback to give back that straight up move was such a key thing. We talked about thinking about this entire move as a gap, right? And even though we closed the highs up here, this really is where the gap started, when we just went vertical into close on Friday. So we pretty much just filled that straight up move from Friday pretty much right off the open, right? So that was a really good read yesterday. We did not take any early morning longs, which probably saved our ass, right, from longing into this major supply above, longing into that QQQ 513. And, I mean, the break and retest rejection yesterday across the market is just a thing of pure beauty. I mean, look at this thing. It's perfect. You have a previous low, you have a break, you have a retest, you have an absolutely perfect bear flag. That could not have been a sexier trade yesterday. If you were a part of this trade yesterday and this was your game plan and you nailed it, fucking pat yourself on the back, man. That is the sexiest trade that anyone got yesterday, right? If you were able to participate in this move last night, a later day, on a break and retest of the intraday low, 20,800 break, 20,800 retest, if you were able to participate in that, you should be extremely happy with yourself. That is a sick trade. Not always do you get to be that clean. Look at that. So that's sick. Now, unfortunately, right, the unfortunate part about today is that you're opening at a low, potentially, which I really don't like, right? We don't really like opening at lows. We don't. We like a pop in rejection. Yes, the levels were different yesterday. I change them every day if necessary. So this is now how I have it. I honestly like this, right? This is really what I like. I'm going to be honest. That's what I really like. So, if we get this, I would be much more interested in smacking short side. But, well, I don't know if we're going to get that. This is really where I'd like to smack it. Back at these previous, back at like these rejections here, back at the 200 SMA, right? The 200 SMA is right here. I know you probably can't see it because it's right in line with the level, but the 200 SMA is right up there at 20,700. So that's really where I want to see this back to, right? I really would like to see some kind of bear trap this morning, right? Give me some kind of bear trap, and then let me refade this thing, back at the 200 SMA level. That's really what you'd want as a short, but I don't know if we'll have that liberty, unfortunately. If we get it, though, then I would absolutely be looking for that, no doubt. Out of focus. Not out of focus. So 20,700, very big. If we can get that bounce, guys, look for that fade. Look for the fade within this zone. This is the golden fade zone right here, man. 20,700, 20,800. Definitely something to watch there, okay? Maybe a little bit of fail here, like 575, 600 area, right in this area here. 550, 565, 570s, right up into these pre-market highs. You guys see this area here? Maybe a little bit there. Right in here. You could watch for like that fail right in there at these pre-market highs, right? Look for the bounce. Look for the rejection. Here we go. Didn't he buy calls on Friday? Yes, I did, and I sold them at open because I'm not an idiot. Guess what? When you buy calls on a Friday and it's up in the it's up the next day, you can sell them, right? You can sell calls, guys. When the market starts to go against you, guess what? You can take profits. Have we thought about that, right? Yes, we can. We can take profits. So, yes, I did sell my calls that I held on Friday on Tesla after the gap up into the next day. And I took profits on the gap up move on Tesla. And I had a beautiful day yesterday. Guess what? You can close your position. 20,577, right? I think you can watch that, right? I think you can watch that. I would rather it be this, right? I would rather it be this, right? So let's see. I like the bounce into 577, 600. I would prefer the bounce into 700, right? I would prefer the bounce into this supply above for that next fade move. To the downside. Let's talk about the downside levels. Because we gotta lock in on some of these down here. The next major downside area is right here between this 200, right between this 200, right in there, and 300. It's 20,200 to 20,300. That's really your next major zone here, guys. So if I zoom this out a little bit, and I put a zone between this 20,200 to 20,300, let me go ahead and show you where these levels stem back from, right? So you guys can see right here, 20,003 to 20,002, 20,003 to 20,002, 20,003 to 20,002. So right in there, right? I think that is where your next major demand area steps in. One second. Okay, so right in there, previous highs, previous lows, previous highs. I think anywhere between this 300 to 200 is where we could start to see some hold, which is pretty much where we're starting to sit right now. If we break under 200, that's pretty big. That's pretty big in my opinion. Under 200, brings you back to 19.9. So I'll show you right here. See this 200? I think under 200 brings you back to 19,900, which is a decent little drop there. So I have right here today, under 20,200, I think you could see 19.9, personally. I really do. 19,900. So that's that. Let's look to see if we can fail under 20,200. If we can, I think you can possibly see slippage towards 19.9. If we bounce within this zone, I would be slightly careful in this zone today. Early morning shorts, I'd be slightly cautious in this zone on the early morning shorts, because you probably could just see sort of a morning gap down turn into a bear trap, right? And if that happens, I would want to see a pop back towards 20,575 or a pop back towards 20,700 to find my new fade, All right? So that's what I would look for. 19,900 is the major next level. If we break 20,200, I would be slightly cautious short into this zone to start the day, just because you're on a gap down and, we could always set up that bear trap type move to start the day. I wouldn't mind a little bear trap type move to find new shorts. If we can do a little bounce out of here, bear trap into 20,575, 600, 700, find the new fade, that's what I would like. But if we just drop under 20,002 to start the day, this might just instantly get bloody. So let's see. All right. QQQ. So here's the QQQ. Yesterday, 513. We had this on our charts. Just absolute smackdown right off the open. Beautiful stuff. It looks like I had around this 50. I had like this 505 area yesterday, which I still think looks like a pretty important spot. 505, 506 looks to be where it sort of found itself yesterday. 505, 506 zone. You can see these previous highs, 505 area, and then look at this little zone here from yesterday, right? So here's your Friday high area before the straight up, the straight up move end of day. You can see that area tried to hold yesterday. It attempted, right? You had that morning drop of 513. You had the attempt to hold the previous day highs, which actually looked like a decent sort of break and retest opportunity, right? It started to look like a decent, hey, maybe we're going to hold previous day highs after that nice gap fill, sort of filling that straight up move. Hey, maybe for a second it looks like the bulls may actually have a footing behind them. Nope, right? Big nope. So it looked good for pretty much pretty much until half the day. It looked like we had a pretty decent hold trying to come in at that previous high, right? Previous high, breakout, retest, and it looked like, oh, hey, maybe we're going to try to find that low by those previous highs. Just didn't happen, right? It probably and the reason for it, guys, the main reason for it is because that's too short term of a look, right? It's just too short term of a look. When we zoom out, we can see, okay, we were holding above that previous high, but guess what? We're still failing those previous lows at 513. And if you guys are having a problem reading the downside markets, right? If you are having some problems reading the downside markets, I would recommend flipping the charts, right? I would recommend flipping the charts. So this is the inverse QQQ. And this is about as bullish of a read as we've ever seen, right? If this is bullish, then the overall market's bearish. So what is this, right? This is a break and retest. Previous high, break, retest. Look at that from yesterday, right? So if you're having some problems reading the downside market, I would try to flip it and see if you can get a better read that way. So like for now today, you can see right here, this 500. See how this 500 level has showed up? I would say if you can get a pullback long at 500, then that's a great entry for more upside. But this is on the inverse Qs. So if you're looking at inverse Qs for a break and retest of 500 for longs, then guess what? You're looking for a bounce and rejection at 500 for shorts, right? So if you're having some trouble reading the downside, it really is the same, guys. It's the same structure, break and retest, everything. It's the same exact thing as downside. Upside and downside, structuring is the exact same. Break and retest works both ways. But if maybe some people have some problems looking for downside, I recommend flipping it. So you flip this chart and you say, okay, where's my next long on this chart? Your next long on this chart is a pullback to 500 and a long off 500. So that means you would look for what? I would look for a bounce and rejection at 500 today. That's exactly what I would look for. If you can get a bounce into 500 today, I would look to see if that is a fade. If you bounce over 500 today, I would say you come back to your 505, 506, which again is a fade. So I would watch here. I would watch here today for your bounce and fade trade ideas. Downside markets are no different than upside markets in the sense that you want a pullback or a bounce before you take the trade. I would not short into the lows today. I would not open the market and just start buying puts right into the daily 200 SMA on the QQQ. This is something I want to make very clear, guys. Another piece of advice to you. Guys, there is going to be days in your trading career that outliers happen. I can't stress how important this concept is, and it's something that's really heavily talked about in the mentorship that I'm building. Outlier days make you do something, make you think that something you did works over and over again, right? If you short today at open, and this thing just flushes through the 200, and we just go straight down, and you crush it, I'm happy for you. Right? That's great. It worked. However, the next time you do that in a market that's not as weak as it is now, the next time you short into a low and you think back to the last time you did it, say, hey, it worked that other day, so let's do it again, right? It worked that other day, so I'm just going to do it again, right? I can guarantee you that mindset, right, will crush you long term. So even if shorting today at the open works, which I'm not saying it won't, but it is never a good idea to tailor, and it's never a good idea to condition yourself to look for that. That's not something I want you to condition yourself to do, because if you do that long term, you will be unprofitable. It may work for you short term, right? It may work for you now because the market's just in full bleed out mode. But the next time you try that in a market that's not full bleed out mode, you will get smacked. And you will question, why am I losing? Well, it's because you're learning. Like, this is this downside is the same as the 2020, 2021 upside? 2022, when was that? Sorry. Sometimes I have some problems with years. The post-COVID upside, where we just went straight up, right? How many traders lost all their money because they just didn't understand, like, they only knew how to buy calls on the day and hope that it went up, right? This is close to the same thing on the downside. So we still need to focus on taking real entries and, like, setting up real trades and not just chasing money. Right? Which it might work. Hey, man, it might work, right? It looks like right now, if you just buy puts and close your eyes, you're going to make a lot of money, which I'm not opposed to it, right? I'm not opposed to you just making money. But I want you to also know how to build a proper trade idea, right? And a proper strategy, and where you should actually take an entry point. So just it's a thought process between just chasing short-term greed and actually setting up real trades that will build a proper foundation long-term. So looks like right now we're just slipping right through it. Maybe we look for a little break and retest of the previous lows to start the day. Let's see, right? Maybe we look for just a little break and retest of the previous day lows. Right here, it looks like the previous day lows around 539.50. So I'm going to go ahead and pop that as a rejection point now. Previous day lows, 539.50. I would be just a little bit cautious near this 200 SMA today. I think it could definitely get some people there. The next major demand, honestly, guys, the next major demand low does not come in until 485 right here. That really is your next spot, 485. So you might see 485 today. That's another 1% to the downside. I think that's possible. So if you reject yesterday's lows here, guys, and you fail under the 200 SMA, I would not be shocked to see 485. That's unless you get a little bear trap, maybe pop into 500, fade 500. Okay. ES, just a sick 59.30 yesterday, man. Absolutely sick 59.30 yesterday. Our 6,000 area was a nice smackdown near that 6025 ES 100 SMA. We've been talking about that zone. Beautiful rejection up there. Beautiful break and retest 5930. And 5900, 5885 is today's spot right in here. 5885, 5900. I'd be watching that. I'd be watching 5930. And I would be careful shorting into 5800. So here we go again, right? Let's go to the daily chart. I want to show you 5800. I'm just going to put a level at 5780 just to put it a little zone there for you. I want to show you 5800. In the long term, shorting into this low and this low and this low and these highs will be something that smacks you up, right? Today may be an outlier day where you just flush through it. That's very possible. But next time you do something like that, it's probably going to hurt you. And so you can see already it's going to start playing games down here. We're definitely going to be playing some games at 5,800 today. There's no doubt about it. That is a huge, huge spot. So be careful down here. I don't think you like the gap down to start the day for short side, to be honest. I think a short seller that actually knows what his strategy is not liking this downside to start the day, right? I would much prefer, in a week, guys, in a weak market, a gap up pre-market is an absolutely gem. It's an absolute gem, right? A gap up in a weak market is exactly what you want, right? That's just you can just prey on the weak hands of a morning gap up, right? That's like the vulture just smelling the meat and saying, oh yeah, here we go, right? A gap down into demand is something to be a little bit cautious of, right? I think maybe you wait for some pops today. I would prefer a pop into this 5885, 5900. That would really be the spot I would love. I don't know if we will get it, but that would really be the spot I would like to see. Possibly we just look for a little 200 SMA rejection today, around 5850. I'll go ahead and pop a level there, even though I don't really see too much there, but I'll pop something around. Yeah, it looks like this 5860 spot, actually. See this little 5860 flip this morning? Take a look at this. Take a look at this. See right here? 5860, 5860. See that little flip right here? That flip right there is what pushed you lower. So that was actually a clean little flip here in the pre-market at 5860. So that would probably be the zone to watch today, guys, if it's really weak. I would say right here, between 5845, 200 SMA and 5860, you probably can look to see if there's a little instant fade within this area here. Above 5860, you go to 5885, 6,000, which is another fade spot to watch. I would much prefer fading this and this today than trying to find an entry at these lows. Now, I will say, if you flush 5,800 today and you start to reject it, then yeah, you're going to have to chase the shit out of this thing. Because if this thing fails 5,800 and rejects, it's going lower. And it's probably going to 5,750. Okay? SPY, 586 looks to be that key spot here. That's just sort of keeping this thing lower. You can see pretty clearly right here, 586. Let me go to the 15-minute. I think it's a little bit clearer here. 586, you can see right here the 590 level yesterday. The break and retest of our 590 lows was just gorgeous. We had those 590s lows, not 590 lows yesterday, 590 lows there. And you can see here on the 5-minute, just a perfect break and retest rejection. Previous lows into new highs, bear flag, bam. Beautiful 590 break and retest there yesterday. That was a sick play. If you can get back up into that level, that would be great. I don't know if we will. But if you can get back into the 586 and the 590, those would be two great pop and fade trades to look for. 586, 590. Look for those pops. Look for those fades if you can get them. This 578, 580 zone, no doubt, is going to be a tough spot to break through. This is definitely a big level on the daily. Let me go to the daily zone. I have the 578 lows. Hold on one second. I got to adjust this chart. I didn't adjust this one yet. So you have this 4-hour low at 575. That's the number one, right? Right down here. I just want to show you guys the big boy levels. Right down here is the big boy, right? Here's your big boy right here, 575. So make sure you got that one nice and bright on your charts. These lows, this little high, and these previous highs, and this low right here. 575 is probably your target today if we stay weak. That's a big boy down there. I would say anywhere between this 578.50, which is right in here. It's right in this area here, these lows right here, 578, 578.50 zone, right in there, 578, 578.50 area is your next area. And basically what I did here is I just plopped the zone between 580 and 578. That's how I'm looking at this today. Between 578 and 580, I think you can find some potential hold zones right here, right here, right here, right? I think you can find some support in that 578, 580 area. If you break 578, you're going to 575. That's how I look at this today. So you can see that's exactly how I have my charts. So if I go into the 5-minute chart now, that's exactly where I am, cautious of shorting into today. I don't like the shorts between 578, and I'm going to move this down to 578. I don't like the shorts between 578 and 580. That's definitely a little tricky zone here today. If you break 578, I think it's very clear to 575, or if you can bounce into 586, I like the fade there. Okay? IWM, trashed. Man, if we go back to that IWM, who remembers we talked about this is the exact same rejection point of 2021. It sure as hell did it again. Look at this zone. Just the same exact rejection point of 2021. I truly think you're going to be probably back to here on the IWM. This is sort of my target on the IWM, back to these highs over here, around 200. These highs right here. See these highs? I think that's probably your target here. Right around 198, 200 is really the target I'd expect. I don't really see how small caps would stay strong in this current market environment. If anything, they should be the ones that are bleeding the most. Under 205 today, I think you go 200. That's pretty much it. I mean, and then you're already there. If you break 205 today, I think you go 200. If you bounce, look for fades at 210. This would be a beautiful fade today. If you bounce here, look to fade these previous lows. I'm actually going to put an alert there. I'm going to put it above 210. If we get a bounce into 210 today, I would definitely look for that rejection play. Dow Jones. How's the Dow been doing? Dow's holding up a little bit because of some of the ancillary stocks that are, not tanking as much as tech names. The Dow did break this 43,250 zone. If you're below that, I really don't see much until 42.5 here, man. I'm gonna be honest. You're probably looking at 42.5 here. Let's zoom in. It's really nothing more than a channel here, right? See this? If you're under 43.250, I would assume 42.5. If you're under 43.250, I would assume 42.5, and that 200 SMA. Okay. All right, let's get into some stocks. Press that like button, please. Subscribe to the channel. 3,500 people here. 100 likes, or 100 likes, 1,000 likes. We need more. Mas likes. All right, Tesla. So let me go ahead and sort of clean this up. It's a organized madness for me, but I'll try to see if I can clean this up for you. Here is what I'm targeting today, okay? And I think it's very clear that you could definitely get it. Am I long Tesla? No. Guys, I took it Friday. I took profits yesterday. If you join the Discord, okay? Guys, I don't join the Discord if you have questions about my positions on a daily basis. Guys, my life is not about coming to YouTube and making sure everyone that talks shit on my YouTube videos knows about my positions. That is not what I want to do in my life, okay? And I know it's not all of you, but you need to understand, right? You are grouped within, if you're not in the Discord, you are grouped within all the assholes on YouTube that talk shit to me. My first order of duty on a daily basis is not to make sure I come to YouTube and make sure all these idiots know what I do with my positions. If you're in my Discord, you know exactly what I'm doing because those are the people that actually take this seriously. So, no, I'm not in Tesla. I took profits at the open pretty much. So 275.62. 275.62 is the gap start. 275.62 is the gap start. Okay? That's the low of 11.6. Right here. See this? Right here. That's the low of November 6th. Now, below that, you have a gap fill at 255.28. 255.28. Right there. This is a gap. Okay. Now, if we go to my chart today, and we go to the 5-minute chart, that is the gap that you are entering. You have entered the gap. So this is very interesting. This is Friday lows. Hold on, let me type that out. Friday lows. So this is your rejection zone right here. 275 to 277, that's Friday lows, and that's this pre-market. I'm sorry, not Friday. That's yesterday lows. What am I, an idiot? It's not Friday. That's yesterday lows. Monday lows. So if we reject Monday's lows, yesterday's lows, and the gap fill level, the gap start level, which we already did, by the way, take a look at this 5-minute chart. Look at this. See that? That is a rejection under Monday lows and under the gap start level. So you guys can see, if we stay under this zone, I would definitely look to see a downside continuation through the gap fill. Yeah, I don't know what the background noise is, man. I got to fix that. It's some clicking noise that I can't understand how to fix. It's something to do with my lights. It's like picking up a frequency, and I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I'm going to have to look it up. 275, 277. That is definitely a rejection point. I would be watching that today. I would only look for downside if we stay below this level today. Okay? That's all I'm going to say. 275, 277. If we stay below that level, I would look for it. Possible demand levels 270, 264. Gap fill 255. I'll definitely be watching that today. NVIDIA trashed yesterday. 113, 116, 117. I think best fade spot of the day is 116. I think best fade spot of the day is right here. It's either these 113 lows or it's right here around 116. These are your two fade spots, here or here. I would be very careful fading near this 110. Okay. AMD, break and retest rejections all day, every day. I mean, just absolutely a thing of beauty over and over again. Unfortunately, this is gone this morning, so really nothing here. But 99, 100 area is where I'd look for that next pop and fade if you can get it. The previous one was over here. I would now look for it here. Unfortunately, you know, this doesn't really look like a trade to me today. It's already too low. But if we can get back to 98 area, then that's what I would look for. 98, 99. If we can get back up there, I'd look for that to fade. Broadcom, gap fill. Damn, dude. It did it. Gap fill complete. Gap fill complete. I'm probably going to not look at this one today because I'm just not really sure what it's going to do here at the gap fill. This could get very tricky, in my opinion. I'm not too much of a fan of trading here at this gap fill level, 185, 186. So I'm just going to sit that one out, see what it does today. Some top stocks that I would watch for big moves. Netflix. I would definitely see if Netflix has the power to move lower. I would see what it looks like today. Under 940, you absolutely have some juice, right? Under 940, I think you absolutely have some potential downside juice here on the gap fill. That's the earnings gap up right there. Let's just keep an eye on 940, man. Let's keep an eye on it. It needs to break under it, though. I would not short this until it breaks under it. You could look to set up your shorts at around this $1,000 level, right? You can see up here. You could try to set up a short up near this $1,000 level and maybe look to see if it'll fade off that. But I would personally just wait for 940 to break. I think that's just fine. You just wait for 940 to break, and if it does, you start to play the gap. But I would keep an eye on that. Let's go to Palantir, because I think Palantir has a nice give-up point today, under 78. If Palantir gives up 78 today, I think you got a nice fader into 72. Here at 78, if you break below that, I think you got a nice fade to 72 in the 100 SMA. That's a pretty free zone, in my opinion, to the 100 SMA. It's around 72.50, but I'll probably give it like the 72.50, 72 area. That's only if you fail under 78, though, because 78 has been a pretty sturdy level. You can see it's sort of holding up again. Sturdy here, holding up again here. If we can fail 78, that's why I have the alert there, I would look for the downside continuation. Or I would look for a pop and fade of 85. Pop and fade of 85. Let's continue. Let's go to Apple. 239, not a bad spot on Apple to watch. It's been pretty sideways, so I probably would only fade Apple under 235 personally. Either 235 or higher at like 242 again. But this is sort of holding, right? 235. So, yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Apple here. Maybe 242 or 235. It's just sort of in the middle of a channel, right? To me, that's just a channel. If I look at this, there's your channel, right? Pretty clear. So under 235, you go lower. Over 242, you go higher. Look for the bounce and fade at 242. Meta getting pretty aggressive under 660, which I think is very clear. The 660 rejections is pretty clear right there. You can see 660 previous lows. That was our rejection point. I'd say you go lower into this 637 today. These previous highs right here, see those previous highs and these previous highs, 637. That's probably your target. I'd be a little bit careful at that 637 shorting. I would prefer a bounce and fade as usual at 660. Amazon likely going to 200. It's sort of already there, unfortunately. That's the previous all-time high. Under 200, you go 195. We'll see maybe if we break that 200. Under 200, you go 195. But you can see right here, the stair-stepping downside has been just insanely clean. So, right here, look for this fade right around 206, 207. If you can get a bounce and fade, that's exactly what you're looking for today. Previous lows, right in here. Bounce, fade, that's what I would look for. 206, 207, that looks like a nice spot. Watch out shorting into key demand at 200 and the 200 SMA. Google, I think it's around that 165 area that could find some demand today. There's some decent lows down at this 165. Look for a rejection of 170. Bounce, fade 170. Over 170, bounce, fade 174. Okay? What else? What else did I see was important today? We can go over Coinbase. Oh, APP as well. Let's go over Coinbase. Coinbase has a huge low that it needs to hold here. 200 is a monster low. If we break under Coinbase 200, I think you can go 175 pretty quickly. Right here. You have this major 200 low. Below that, you don't really have anything until 175 and maybe even 160. So I would definitely be watching to see if Coinbase continue it. Guys, yesterday's fade, I mean, I hope I saved someone money yesterday. I hope to God that I saved at least one person out there that was just horned up on longing Bitcoin to start the day, just horned up to long Coinbase and MicroStrategy. God, I hope I saved someone. This was just a classic example of a break and retest rejection. And it just so happens that the retest was on a morning gap up, which is just insane, right? Previous lows, break, gap up into the retest, smack down. Just sick. Absolutely sick. So I hope I saved someone yesterday, man, because boy oh boy was that just a sick rejection. I would not be opposed to looking for more here, man. I don't think you have to say that Coinbase is going to stop going down because of that move. I think you can definitely look for more. Under this 200, man, I think you can definitely look for 175 here. Right? If we zoom over here to the left, let's zoom over. If we zoom over to the left, maybe it's like you got a little bit of lasting demand, maybe down into like, maybe you put a little level at 195 area. Yeah, I mean, there's going to be little spots, little spots that pop up everywhere. Looks like 191 could maybe pop up a little bit. You can see maybe a little bit of pop up at this 191 area. But I would say that breakdown of that Psych 200 could be pretty nice today. If we break down that Psych level at 200, I'd say, okay, maybe 190 to be a little bit more conservative. But ultimately, I would say down to these lows at 175. So I would definitely be watching that. MicroStrategy, same exact thing, man. Look at that. Previous lows, pop, smackdown. 227 is the big level. ANF, I want to talk about ANF right here because ANF might be just something you can absolutely close your eyes on here. And I don't recommend that, but this does look like something you might be able to close your eyes on here, man. ANF might just be in a beautiful fade out. I don't know exactly where this is going to go because this is a very tricky, just sort of grind higher. But guys, Abercrombie and Fitch, something we talked about in this live stream every day, something we just couldn't really wrap our minds around, saying, what the fuck is this stock doing? Why is it going straight up? The tides may have turned here. So since their last earnings, really, this thing has been dead weak. This could be something you try to use and abuse here, man. This could just be your short, just the stock you use to, just the stock you look for shorts on. I would just look for the retest rejections to continue to work. So right here, right around these previous lows, I would say use 100. I would look for rejections of 100 today and just continue to fade this thing lower if it's under 100. That's the same thing as Carvana. The other fraudulent company that I don't understand how it went from like single digits to 300. $3 to 300 for what? That's an interesting name. This thing's been sort of dead weak. I would watch this as well. I don't really like the levels on Carvana, though. This 208 looks like a spot, though. Yeah, 208 right here today. This low, 208. You break that, you could definitely see maybe that 200 SMA. I'm going to set an alert under these lows today. Set alert under those lows there. What other shit names have been going down? I think we got to head out soon, though. Kava. This thing's been going down aggressively. Small cap name. 90. Big breakdown under 90. Damn, that's a huge breakdown under 90. Damn. Kava could see like 72 here, I'd say. This might be something to watch. Under 90 is pretty nasty there on Kava. I would watch that under 90. I'll keep that on watch today. That's a nice 90 rejection right there this morning. Look at that. 90. Lows, rejection. I would watch that. Yeah, last but not least, let's go. Oh, no, we talked about Palantir. All right, that's going to be it. I got to head out. It's 8:55. So, what are we doing? What are we doing to start the day? We saw the little, right? We've seen the sort of trap down here. You can see it starting to get, it's getting a little holdy down here. They're getting a little handsy. Careful with them. Don't let them touch you. I'm out of my mind today. They're getting a little handsy down here. Don't let them get handsy in here. I would be careful. This is not something where I would just try to short into today. Let this pop first. Pop and fade is the way to trade this downside market. Look for the 20,570 area, 20,700. Look for the pops. Look for the fades. Be careful down into these lows. Under 20,200, it's free fall. You might as well turn the song on, free falling. Under 20,200. Be careful down at this 493 area on the Qs. You can see it's flipped back to green now. Anywhere between that 493 and that 200 SMA, man, I would be very careful shorting into. ES, 5,800, man, I don't think you want to short right into that today. Look for the pop, look for the fade. 5,860, 5,885, 5,900. And finally, SPY, be careful shorting into the 578, 580. I love the pop into 586 for a fade. I would watch that. All right, that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed the live stream. If you did, press that like button for me. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Best of luck today. Peace.